All right, welcome in another episode of T-Dub's Film Room. We're doing the 2023 Iron Bowl here. We're really focusing on Auburn's offense and kind of Hugh Freeze's game plan versus this Nick Saban defense, Kevin Steele, Tavares Robinson. And I want to show you that there's basically honestly three, maybe four general concepts that Hugh Freeze really goes to again and again this entire game. So three, maybe four concepts. The first being a formation in the boundary jet concept with a lot of different variations. Kind of along with that, how Auburn attacks the edges of this defense. The second concept is our empty package. A lot of quarterback draws. We'll look at that. And then the third concept is basically the third down package, where Hugh Freeze uses a lot of bunch and stack formations to create obviously just beneficial situations for the offense, just based on how Alabama deals with bunch and stack formations and kind of post-snap concepts as well. So let's get right to it. This might be surprising again. Literally three concepts. The first concept we're going to look at is the formation, the boundary jet concept is what I'm calling it. There are 17 plays that I charted from this game that are basically all the same general structure with a lot of different variations. So let's look at this first. This is the first play of the game. Obviously, we line up. You can see the formation, the boundary, kind of what I'm calling it, and it's a lot of two tight end sets. You'll have basically a tight end on the ball, a tight end or an F kind of in the wing situation, and then this is a receiver that a lot of times will send in motion to the field and kind of affect this edge defender. But first play here, we have a little, basically just like a play action boot, roll out, kind of a flood. The receiver here is in the flat. We've got the tight end on the ball coming around for that second level play, and then the receiver is going deep. This is just kind of a mess, honestly. But again, just kind of setting up the formation and the concept of what we'll see with a lot of different variations for the rest of the game. All right, advancing pretty far here in the game because Auburn starts out offensively not doing very well. You can see Peyton Thorne's statistics here. But basically, again, you can kind of see we motion the running back, basically just bumped him over. We've got that similar set where we've got tight end on the ball, F or wing, another tight end. We've got the receiver off the ball coming in this jet motion to the field. And again, we're talking about this, and I'll break down the SEC championship game with Georgia and Alabama as well. But Georgia basically copied a lot of this game plan where we'll take a receiver, motion him to the field, and we'll have basically affect this outside linebacker, this edge defender, and make him kind of bump out and play in space. But what we can see here is basically a jet motion, and they were kind of setting up this counter where you've got the backside guard kicking out, and then you've got that F, that wing tight end, who typically would be up inside for that first linebacker. The whole right side of the offensive line kind of collapsed down, front side tackle working up to backside backer. And basically we're running almost like it's really a power read is really what it is. Thorne's just kind of reading maybe this defender or just leverage guys in general to see if they really take this running back. We can see the edge defender kind of squeeze this down. So the read would be, or Peyton Thorne, if we would read and keep if this edge defender maybe bumps out, and then he would just kind of hit it on that power, that counter design there. Otherwise, if he sees we kind of have leverage here, hand it off to the back, and you can see we've got a pretty good little first down play here. And actually it gets Auburn, I think, their first down of the game. All right, very next play. Not exactly the same structure of that, formation and boundary jet motion, but just to show that if there is a working concept like that counter, this is the same play in a lot of ways. You're getting the, collapse from the right side of the line. You've got the guard pulling to kick, and you've got the F wing tied in here, folding up inside for the backer. You can already see how this is developing really nicely. Jarquez hits the hole hard, and this is the biggest gain so far of the game for sure. A nice explosive play there on a first down, hurry up type of setup. All right, so advancing a little bit off of that drive, Auburn was able to punch it in. So now we're in the second quarter already. You can see the first play for Auburn here in the second quarter coming out. You may not know this, but off of a touchback, the offense can select where they want the ball to be placed. This tells you a lot about kind of what the game plan is. So we actually selected the left hash. All right, we're close to our sideline. We want this formation in the boundary. Look at all this space to the field that we have. So we're setting this thing up from kind of the get-go here. We bump the running back, we motion the receiver, and guess what? We run basically the same type of play here with that kind of front side counter front side counter lead there, basically. Little play, second, or excuse me, 2 yards there on first down, but again, just showing that, they're going back to this over and over again. There it is again, coming off that earlier drive as well. All right, so here we go. This is kind of that one of the 3 main concepts that we were looking at. So this is a third down. This is a bunch, obviously, concept here. You can kind of get a pretty good look at what the defense is going to do. I would assume maybe from this look it's some type of 2-man or even a cover 1 man with a rob, and he's maybe deep middle and he's kind of that robber, something like that. Maybe he's a green dog with the running back. But as we play this forward, all we're really looking at here is we're going to watch how this develops from this bunch set. So what it comes down to is post-snap rules for your defense of how they want to cover a bunch set. In this case, the point receiver here is going to basically run an outside release go. He's going to kind of start outside and then just basically cross underneath. And I don't even know, he may be going on a drag or something like that. But you can see kind of the traffic this creates. He's just going to clear out. He's going to push outside. Both are going to push outside. We cross underneath. Kool-Aid McKinstry's supposed to be able to fight over top of this in some fashion to be able to cover this as well, but you can see what this creates and the problems that it creates for the defensive backs there out of that bunch set. So just a really good job of Hugh Freeze just kind of knowing how Alabama likes to play defensively and how they like to defend that kind of bunch set or those stack sets that Nick Saban's defense do struggle with a little bit, and everybody does to an extent. This is the very next play, obviously. We're coming back to basically the same general setup, right? So you still got the tight end on the ball, the tight end or the F wing, the running back in the backfield with the receiver here that typically comes in jet motion, but this time, obviously, we're just under center. So this is a pretty interesting little look. It's a split zone boot. This is something that you would typically maybe see on like a goal line scenario going in for a touchdown run, but pretty interesting little first down play call just to like keep things moving forward, a nice 5 or 6 yard gain there. All right, same drive. We're in a third down scenario again. Again, one of these 3 main concepts here, we're getting an empty. And we'll, the whole purpose of this, okay, is this is Dallas Turner. All right, we've already been kind of, attacking him in different ways. We're going to line up an empty, and we're going to see, it's like, okay, look, if we motion Jarquez, the running back to the backfield, and he runs with him, or at least across the formation, what does that tell you? It tells you it's man coverage. We got a free safety here, so it's basically just cover 1 with a free safety, man free. Well, then Peyton Thorne just picks his matchup. You got some clog stuff down here with the running back motion, but he's just picking the slant route. Just a nice throw and catch for a first down. So again, you can just clearly see what the third down package, what the idea of what Auburn's going to try to do. They're going to try to spread Bama out, pick their matchup, make Alabama kind of declare to Auburn's offense what they're in, zone or man, based on motion, and then just pick a matchup and try to convert. All right, again, same drive. We got a first down here. We're bumping the running back again. Guess what? We'll probably send him in motion if I had to guess. There he goes. Same exact concept. You've got that kind of power read to the field. Now, we watch. This is essentially the read defender, even though it almost looks like Thorne is kind of looking second level, and maybe that's because so far in the game you can kind of see that Alabama's way to defend some of this stuff when you have an unblocked kind of front side defenders, he just goes ahead and just wants to blow the pulling guard up, and then they're going to gap replace where he'll squeeze it down or take the running back on the read, and then the outside or the linebacker on the second level basically scrape over the top to basically take the gap. So that's how why it's called gap exchange. But here Dallas does a really good job. He just kind of squeezes, keeps that inside shoulder kind of strong there, and then he's able basically to kind of take both of these away. Now you could say, well, this should have been a keep read here, but really you still have 2 unblocked backers here that would have shut this thing down, because the guard who's kicking that first defender and then the F that's supposed to fold up inside, they both take Dallas. Dallas does a great job, and that's a TFL. So that's why he's going to be a first-round draft pick in the NFL.
First down play.
All right, so here we go. Second 2, advancing a little bit. You can see we're kind of approaching halftime here. Here we go. Left hash, formation, the boundary, same kind of setup. Now you can see this guy's got a little bit more depth, so if the defense could key in on that, maybe they're seeing this has got to be some kind of different type of look here. But you get the receiver motion, and then essentially what we're going to here is a split zone. So you can really see, again, you've got a tight end on the ball, you've got essentially what would be a fullback, and you've got a tailback. So this is no different than just like a traditional strong eye set with a split zone action. That's all it is. Really good job of blocking there. Running back hitting the crease. this is a huge explosive gain. You get a face mask at the end of this, and sets Auburn up here in the red zone. But still, off of that same concept, I think we'll get a replay here, slow it down a little bit to see kind of how these blocks shake out. But really, in this case, Alabama's in a little bit more of an aggressive defense. When we motion him across, I believe somebody flies over. Yep. So it's essentially man 0, maybe cover 1 with a deep safety. But once we bring him out, and obviously the point of attack, these guys on these combo coverages combo blocks are doing a really good job. Rivaldo Fairweather does a really good job. We work up, and then that's it. There's nobody left because Alabama was in a little bit more of an aggressive defensive stance here. So, good play, but again, off of that same exact concept that Auburn's just going back to again and again here. All right, very next play, off the explosive run. Hugh Freeze kind of in his bag right here, but again, it's still the same general type of set. We're going to fake that kind of split zone again with a little pitch reverse, and then some really good kind of downfield blocking here, and they're able to punch it in and go up 14-10 here in the second quarter. So again, just variations and wrinkles off of the same general concept here is again kind of the whole point of this, and how Auburn just keeps going back to it. All right, here we go. A couple of plays here before halftime, not super impactful, but just kind of charting out, counting up how many times we run the same exact concept. We got a split zone action here, and Jarquez hits the front side read, but that's one of those 17 of the same exact concept variations that Auburn runs here. All right, so situation, a minute 15 left to go before halftime. Auburn's got 2 timeouts. After that, first down run, they're thinking, okay, well, let's see, we'll empty them out. We're still in a 2 tight end set, so like personnel-wise, you may have some favorable matchups here. We also probably know that their base out of more of a hurry-up is a certain type of coverage, in this case, a single high type, match zone, so like basically a cover 3 match. So what we see is basically a verticals concept, vertical, seam, kind of an over route with an underneath crosser. Thorne reads it. We're hitting that seam down the middle. Not a great throw. Definitely not a great catch. But just an interesting little look there at how verticals can attack, kind of a cover 3 zone there. Missed opportunity for Auburn, obviously, right before halftime, but just kind of is what it is. All right, Auburn's first play of the second half is not till 9 minutes left to go, basically in the third quarter. And guess what they do? Formation the boundary, right? Tight end the ball, wing, jet motion from the receiver, and we get this same type of read. This is a pretty interesting little play that we've seen a lot now. Essentially, it's basically a front side quarterback counter with like a backside, outside type of give here with the running back. But Thorne reads it, keeps it, gets up inside. Pretty good blocking there on the front side, only gets a couple yards. But again, just going right back to that same concept. All right, so we're going straight to kind of the all-22 view here of the replay. This is a 3rd and 3 on that first possession of the second half, but this just gives you a way clearer picture of what's going on. So, so far we kind of looked at that bunch set and some of those variations that Auburn's had on third down. Here we start in kind of a 2-by-2, but we're going to motion to stack to essentially create the same dilemma here for these receivers. It's one of these situations where if the first receiver maybe releases inside, maybe this guy picks him up, and if he releases outside, maybe he picks him up, but there's still communication post-snap that has to happen here to sort this stuff out. So it's kind of the same situation. He's going to get an outside release, so now we've got the matchup here because he's coming underneath. He's the inside kind of defender here. Now, one thing that's interesting is this is kind of your man read. Obviously, Peyton Thorne sees immediately that it's man coverage. On the backside, though, you do have more of a zone coverage beater. You've got the whip route from the inside tight end. You've got a dig route here on the outside tight end. So if it was like a cover 2 or something like that, you attack that hook curl defender and put him in conflict. But here, from that underneath slant, out of that stack, Javaris Johnson, pretty quick guy, roasts Caleb Downs there, the safety. It's just a bad matchup for the defense. And so you can see how Auburn does that on third down. All right, I'm going to play this forward. This is pretty interesting. So 2nd and 6, they get the play call in late. You can see the clock ticking down, but you can see what we're getting into. Bump, this guy's going to motion, and we're going to have some kind of a play call off of this. Nobody's happy. The play call came in late because I think the coaches were mad about something that didn't get called or whatever. But this is big. This is a timeout in the second half of this close game that Auburn has to pull. But what's interesting is I'll show you what their actual play call was in just a second. All right, coming out of that timeout, Auburn's got the same play call, bump, jet motion, so it's that same concept. Here's the first real wrinkle that we've seen so far in this game, all right? at the snap, it just looks like you're, maybe the power read again is something like that. But you're going to see here from that receiver, we're going to get some kind of inside track here. All we're trying to do is create some conflict, create some kind of rub here for this guy hitting the wheel. They don't communicate it properly. We got a wide open touchdown. Again, off of that same base concept, just a variation, a wrinkle off of it. It's pretty crazy, honestly, how simple, really this game plan was, and yet how effective it was. Auburn taking the lead here, 21-20 in the third quarter. All right, coming back in, crowd's going crazy. Alabama missed a field goal. There's just a few minutes here left in the third quarter. Huge drive of the game. We're on the right hash. Guess what? Formation the boundary, bump the running back, jet motion the receiver here, and we run, I think, the split zone concept. Yep, there it is, split zone concept. Damari kind of shoves it up in there for 3 or 4 on first down, but again, just going right back to it in crunch time. They're staying with the game plan. Here we go. Same drive, same set. A little bit of a different wrinkle. We have some sort of a front side read. I believe we're reading one of these guys. Let's see. Maybe him. Yeah, we're leaving him on block. We read. He kind of goes with running back. And then you've got numbers. You just basically have numbers. More offensive linemen to block because you have one guy that's unblocked. I mean, watch this develop. We leave him on block, and you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have a hat on a hat here. Linebackers kind of flow a little bit as well, and you can see that thing open up. So pretty crazy. But again, same concept, just a little wrinkle, just a little variation. All right, here we go. A new little wrinkle here. You can see Dallas Turner again, same set. We're attacking here. This time we're getting a little play action, kind of an F slide. We got a post wheel combo down here. Peyton Thorne does a really good job, here against Dallas Turner, who, again, is going to be a first-round NFL pick. And I think we'll get a little replay here. But, again, just a wrinkler variation off of that same concept. You can see Dallas Turner is essentially unblocked. We're kind of expecting him to maybe try to get, some contact on this guy. Maybe you work the two-man combo or if he releases. But he does a really good job playing this out. Thorne kind of fakes him out a little bit. It's the post wheel. But here the wheel sits it down because you've got this defender here over the top. And then Thorne's able to get it to him for a first down conversion. Hurry up counter, first down. And you can see, there's a lot of momentum here going for Auburn in the second half. Just running the ball, controlling the clock, getting first downs. All right, fourth quarter here. First play, Auburn has held possession here for the remainder of the third quarter there. Guess what we go to? Left hash, formation, the boundary. Still trying to figure out exactly what we're doing here, but they're going to get it figured out, and guess what? We're going to have a motion from the receiver, the jet motion, and some variation of this concept that they're going to run here. Again, it's more of that kind of counter look with the running back backside. Thorne reads it, gets up inside for 3 or 4 yards on first down. All right, so coming back, same possession here. You can see, maybe 3 minutes or so, or 2.5 minutes worked off the clock. Auburn's in a 2nd and 17 in the red zone after a -7 on 1st and 10. So they know they need some yardage here. So they're going to go back to a motion out to empty. And then that kind of, you can see the checks that's happening in the defense. They're anticipating Alabama's defense, audibling to their kind of base against an empty set right here. And we'll let this play forward. It's a quarterback draw, right? If Auburn goes to empty, a lot of times it's going to be a quarterback draw, all right? We've attacked vertical some, but a lot of times, at least with this version of the offense with Peyton Thorne, if we go to empty, quarterback draw should be on high alert. What they know is they're going to have these kind of combo, he's hard inside, kind of pressing him out. Linebacker here, kind of, one-on-one. It's basically kind of like a two-man variation. But watch this thing open up. I mean, there's nobody left in the middle of the field. Again, this is just kind of a staple of the Alabama defense, the Nick Saban defense that, Auburn kind of has been taking advantage of that since like 2009. I can remember that. So just pretty interesting how, when you know the opponent, how you can kind of game plan for them. All right, here we go. Very next play, first down, huge moment in the game here. They're trying to punch it in. Guess what they go to? Bump the running back, motion, split zone, right? So right back to Old Faithful. A few yards here, third down, or 3 yards or so, something like that. But again, just going right back to the well. All right, next play. This is, a really important time of the game. Auburn probably doesn't really realize it, but this is really their last possession of the game, which is kind of crazy, until they're down late trying to score. There's not a lot of time left, but we start out empty. We motion back, to the back in the backfield, and I think it's just to kind of see the picture of what's going on. But you can see here, it's some type of man coverage across the board. There's no like safeties or secondary players in zone. You may have some backers that are kind of comboing or doing different things like that. But the one thing that's interesting is, see how this Hugh Freeze offense develops as Auburn gets more players in. Like if this is Cam Coleman or somebody, do you just throw this thing up to him? But we can see a nice little like goal line, pass concept here. We're basically kind of get an outside release, and then he's probably hoping to get inside and just break across. This guy does a really good job. I think it's Caleb Downs here of just hard inside leverage, making him work over the top. But, a little opportunity here as he works across, hits him right in the face mask. Very, pretty good coverage, but, missed opportunity probably from the Auburn perspective there. All right, so here we go. 9 minutes left to go in the game. This actually is basically the last Auburn possession until they're down late. So we'll take a pretty good look at this. But what do? This is crunch time. If they can go down and put a scoring drive together, even if they just get 3, they're going to feel really good about where they're at. What do? Go right back to that same exact concept. Formation boundary, jet motion. This time it's more of a true running back counter off of that, 3 or 4 yards on first down. All right, very next play, we're going to empty or motion out to empty here. And what have we said to look out for when we motion to empty? Quarterback draw. All right, there it is. Tackle does a good job releasing, and first down there. All right, 2nd and 9, we're basically motioning to empty again. Pretty interesting here. Alabama's more of like a 3-man drop 8 in this case, with a kind of almost like a green dog or a quarterback spy here. Again, the situation, we basically get that similar concept that we were looking at earlier with, that whip route earlier here. It's just more of like a little, hook route or whatever you want to call it. But basically we're attacking that hook curl defender. You got Rivaldo behind it. Bama players everywhere, hits him in the hands. But pretty good throw there by Peyton Thorne, and Auburn can't get it. So now we're in 3rd and 9. All right, the 3rd and 9 play, we can see we're in empty here. You can kind of see how this is developing as well as these guys push their routes downfield. But really the action's here. You get a, whatever you want to call it, tackle in, twist, something like that. You've got the edge defender here, who in this case is, I believe, Braswell, or actually I think that's Dallas Turner potentially, but just looping inside. Auburn's offensive line doesn't do a great job of sorting it out. 3rd and 9 in this case. So you get Braswell and Turner there on the sack. 3rd and 9, huge sack for Alabama. You can see 7 minutes left. This is basically when Auburn gets to stop. We muff the punt. Then you have the 4th and 30 and so on. So you can see how that develops. But I hope you enjoyed the video. That's basically all. We're not going to look at the last few plays for Auburn there. It wasn't very game plan specific. But again, 17 times I charted that formation, the boundary, jet motion, and different variations off of it. The other 2 main concepts of this game was empty as a formation, and then kind of the different things they wanted to attack, including the quarterback draw, and then just the 3rd down concepts there where they had a lot of bunch and stack out of motions as well. So pretty simple game plan, really, but very effective with the different variations and wrinkles. So hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you want me to see break down next.